I don't know if you can see this, but this tiny little scar right there on my knee. There's one on the other side too. But this is the story of how I tied a PGA Tour player while I was in high school and got those 2 scars on my knee. Today's a little bit different. Kat's actually behind the camera helping me film. Normally it's just me in here filming alone with my camera by myself in the ever-expanding dark void of human consciousness. It's only my innermost thoughts to keep me company. If you're new here, I'm on a 1-year journey from average guy to professional golfer. If that interests you, go ahead and join the gallery, hit subscribe. Kat would very much appreciate it, because every time I get closer to making this my full-time job, she gets closer to not having to help me with all this stuff all the time. Let's go back in time to my freshman year of high school when I was just a wee lad. Unbridled excitement, unbounded hope, uncrushed dreams. Little 9th grade me. It was the beginning of February and I was set to try out for the high school golf team for the very first time. I was paired with one of the best junior golfers in the world who would go on to play on the PGA Tour, Matt Neesmith. The first hole at the now defunct North Augusta Country Club was a downhill par 4. Matt missed his tee shot to the right, I missed my tee shot to the left with a 40-yard cart path bounce. Now we would both go on to bogey that hole. I ended up shooting 47, Matt probably broke par, but for one hole, in one round, in high school, I tied a future PGA Tour player. Matt, if you want a rematch, let me know. I'm happy to make it happen. We'll get you on the channel, we'll get you mic'd up, we'll have some fun. But how does this connect to the 2 scars on my knee? Well, despite my 47 on the opening 9, I did make varsity that year. And a week later, I bone bruised my knee pretty severely and missed almost the entire season. I only made it back in time to play the last few matches. 5 years later, when I was 19 years old, I had knee surgery on the same knee. Unrelated to the bone bruise, I had a condition called plica. Well, it's not a condition. And look, I'm not a doctor, and this is a golf channel, so I'll do the best I can. But essentially, plica is in everyone's knee. It's the folds in the lining of the knee that help the joint move. In my case, my plica was inflamed and damaged, which caused a restriction of movement and pain in my knee, which is not ideal for a golfer. So I had arthroscopic surgery on this knee to fix it, and in large part it did. I don't really have that much pain in the right knee anymore. I did not have this procedure done to my left knee, as it was not in as much pain, and it still isn't. And there's definitely still pain with both of my knees though, so it does worry me for the long-term career of being a professional golfer. As with last week's video on my back injury, I bring this to you so that I can share the physical difficulties of this process with you. Golf is really hard on the back and the knees, and I happen to have injured both of those things very early in my career. For now though, I've turned my attention to prevention and maintenance, trying to keep my knees as healthy as possible. Thanks to the content produced by the Knees Over Toes guy and ATG Training, I've discovered that there's ways to prevent further injury and regain mobility in my knees. In addition to the constant maintenance that I'm doing with my back, day in and day out with mobility and workout and icing and therapy, I am also in constant maintenance mode with my knees, further adding to this mobility workout routine. Look, this is the price of going pro. This is what it looks like. This is what it costs. This is what dedication looks like. Doing the small things day in and day out. The preventative things that don't get the applause, that don't put your name on the scoreboard, that don't see immediate results. Engaging in consistent action, staying true to that process for the long-term goal. And again, I'm happy to do that, but this wouldn't be an intimate, connective process if I didn't bring you along for the ride. So let's turn our attention to next week. Next week, we are going to get philosophical? We're going to philosophize. We're going to philosophize on next week's episode. We're going to do our best impression of Plato and Aristotle and Descartes, and we are going to talk about my philosophy regarding injury recovery, since I've spent quite a lot of time in the injury recovery room. See you next week on Tour Bound.
It's a good blooper.
It's perfect, yeah. All right, here we go.